One. Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and notification button. Audio versions of the show are available on Anchor. And if you'd like to contact the show, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, the Upper Tier. Joining me tonight, as always, my partner from the Transfer Show and Shankly Sessions. Dane, how are we doing? Congratulations, by the way.
High on life, all our viewers and listeners. Stay tuned. Early next week, we'll have a new member of the Upper Tier team.
Guest spot.
Guest spot. He's taken over. Is Air Lewis
our new signing in the transfer window.
Free signing with potential to make us millionaires.
Awesome. Also joining us tonight, as always, from the Monday Mashup, you'll recognise this guy, Dane Malone. How are we doing, Dane?
All right, lads. How's things?
Good, very good. Good to have you on. This is, of course, your Euro 2020, as they call it, weekly update. We're going to go through the first round of matches, group by group, and see can we pick out what we've seen so far a week into the tournament. Starting with Group A, Italy, Wales, Switzerland, and Turkey. Italy starting off the tournament with a fantastic win over Turkey, 3-0. Looking really powerful, solid at the back, scoring goals. As Dean said when we did the preview, and Craig, a nice mix of youth and experience in that Italian side at the moment. So probably no surprise. Don't know about you guys. Dean, Fitz, if you want to take this one. Turkey, bit disappointing, yeah?
Yeah, there was a lot of people had Turkey down as one of the dark horses. Very, very surprised at how that group has gone. I'm not surprised Italy are top of the group. With the Euro 2020 app, you have the tournament predictor, and you pick the standings of each group, and then who meets who further on the knockouts. And I had Italy down to win that group. Their form, I think they're 29 or 30 games unbeaten. The last game they lost was to Portugal. Jeez, I think over 2 years ago.
What's the 10 clean sheets as well, Dan, is it?
10 clean sheets. No, I believe over the run, over the course of the unbeaten run, they've about 20 clean sheets. They're absolutely outstanding. The boys up front, Immobile, Insigne, the boys at the back, Chiellini and Bonucci, man. Like I predicted France. So I'm going to stick with France to go on and win the tournament. But me and my dad were talking about, and I said, Dad, who's going to win the Euros? France, yeah. And he was like, Italy. He said, wait and see. Italy are the dark horses of that tournament, and they're going to take a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. Dane, Wales and Switzerland 1-1, the other match in that group. I couldn't believe this ended up being a draw. I thought Switzerland should have battered Wales about 6-1. Looking at that first half performance, they missed so many chances. I think the Wales goalkeeper was man of the match. What was you thinking on that, Dane?
I still think Wales are dark horse in the tournament, to be honest. Wales, Italy. I do think after Wales' performance, obviously the first game, they got battered. Like, if we're being realistic, they got absolutely battered in the game. Switzerland should have had 3 or 4. With looks of things, didn't get the chances. Goalkeeper's phenomenal for Wales. But then I do think they could go on and do things in the tournament, probably get semi-finals. If the way they played yesterday, if they can continue that form, it could go against them. Like, it could go with them.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. There's some real good fixtures coming up, but I don't know. I suppose when you look at it, you still have Switzerland there as well, and I'd be kind of favouring Switzerland a little bit.
I don't think so, to be honest. I think, as Dan said, I thought coming into this tournament, Turkey were going to top the group genuinely. I know Dan thought Italy. I genuinely, after seeing the performance that Turkey had in the group stage, in their group, I genuinely thought they might top that group. And they just haven't played to that ability that they should have. Yeah. Italy have been phenomenal. I do think now it's going to be Italy and Wales going through. Maybe if Switzerland get that, what's it, the 4 best placed tour teams?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think with Switzerland having Turkey in their last game and Wales having to face Italy, I don't know. I can't see Wales getting a whole lot out of that Italian game. I know
will Italy play a full 11 though?
Well, come here. Regarding Italy playing a full 11, like you look at Italy are going to make 11 changes to that game. You look at Italy's bench. You have Emerson, Chiesa, Bernardeschi, Belotti, Bastoni.
Amazing.
Wales are going to have it really, really tough against Italy in that final game.
I look at it from 2016 with us then, sorry for interrupting you there, but I look at it, you know, like we played in 2016 there in the Euros, and we put out obviously the second 11 and we beat them 1-0. Do you think that could happen to Wales tomorrow? Wales?
I just think that like that. I know what you're saying. Like it's a complete kind of completely same scenario where Italy rested all their players. But like them lads that are coming in for Italy will want to make a statement and will want to show the manager that, look, I can play, I can start in this team, I can take this team to another level. And these lads will want to make an impression, you know what I mean? Because let's be real, right? Regardless of the result against Wales, if Italy go through, the lads that play in that game, probably one of them may get the breakthrough and get into the starting 11. But once they get into the knockout stages, there ain't anything, unless there's a big injury crisis in the squad, there's no one moving out of that starting 11 because they work so well as a unit. Like their attacking play, I fucking love that guy from last night, Locatelli. He's absolutely outstanding. There's talk of like not just Liverpool, but like players to sign for next season in the Premier League. He's definitely going to be on the radar now of a few teams.
He's a 40 million price tag or something like that, doesn't he? Which would be worth it when you look at the way he's played.
Yeah, at the moment, if he continues playing the way he's playing, but if Italy go to the semis or the final, he's easily doubling his price tag.
And well worth it as well for what you're getting out.
100%.
I suppose tactically, when you look at it as well, if you're the likes of Italy and you're in that group and you're in such a dominant position, you're kind of looking to find a way to put the next best team out if you can, because you're trying to get rid of people at this stage as well. You know what I mean? So if you look at Italy from a tactical point of view, you know, it's going to be difficult. But obviously, like, do they want Wales to go through or Switzerland to go through, or would they prefer Turkey the way they're playing at the moment to go through, you know? So there's that tactical idea as well, you know?
The only concern I'd have about Italy going into the knockout stages, and it's not a major one, but the only concern I have is the loss of Chiellini. If that's a bad injury, Chiellini and Bonucci, like, did you know what I mean? It's a fine art. It's a fine art of defending how them boys play together. Like
I thought he got taken off there, Dan. I thought he got taken off there because he got the yellow card so early on, wasn't it? As well, because you couldn't risk getting the red then.
Oh, was it? No, I thought it was an injury. He didn't get booked against Switzerland. Chiellini came off early in the game after 24 minutes.
But he came off after 20 minutes after getting the yellow card, he did.
I think was that not the second game?
Was it the second game?
Yeah, we're rounding up week one here. That was the second game.
Sorry, whatever it may have been.
Yeah. Oh, right. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, you're right. Let's move on. Group B, which, you know, was an interesting group. Of course, we seen what happened the other day with Denmark with Eriksen, of course, and it looks like he's on the mend, you know. But it was a tough watch, all right. But Finland coming away with the win kind of put the spanner in the works, really, didn't it, in that group when you think about it?
Yeah. I definitely think what happened has had its an impression on the boys. It came out, Peter Schmeichel came out and said that they didn't want to play. They were told they'd have to forfeit the game. You know, it's UEFA rearing its head again, you know, which is they do absolutely nothing to get the fans on side. For them, and Peter Schmeichel's not going to lie about something like that. For them to tell those lads you either play or forfeit the game is a fucking shame. Those guys should be getting plastered all over the news, all over the media. Like we've heard about the corruption over the years. Now this has really pissed me. This has really pissed me off how they dealt with that situation. I had Denmark as probably finishing second in that group, but again, you have Finland coming in and no pressure on them. You know what I mean? No, they're happy to be there, but they've got a couple of decent players. Glenn Kamara, Timo Pukki. There's a couple of the guy who scored the other day. I can't pronounce his name, but I'm sure everybody knows who I'm talking about. They've really taken a few people by surprise and thoroughly deserved the win against Denmark, I think, because I thought they played very well
Absolutely.
I just don't think the game should have been restarted though. To be honest, after like the players obviously weren't in emotional state to go back onto the pitch.
Yeah, and I think as well, if you look at it, why didn't they just call it a draw? Why didn't they just give it a draw and give them a point each and move on?
I'm sure. Look, they could never they couldn't unless they done it the following day when it's still raw what's happened to Christian Eriksen. You know, that was too much of a risk as well.
Yeah.
But
wasn't they couldn't that the talk then though that he would start at 12 o'clock the next day, so without 11 or 12 the next day on the Sunday.
Yeah, but now we know that they were told to play that night or lose the points, like, you know what I mean? So that's neither here nor there now. But they couldn't push it out and say, right, well, we'll play the game next week because the whole tournament's in turmoil then.
Yeah.
So, you know, Finland still had to do a job, and they couldn't take sympathy or sit back and say, well, look, hopefully they score and they beat us. They still had to do a job, which they done. And that throws a spanner into the works in that group now, because Denmark losing 2 games, Finland are still in with a shout now.
Yeah. But I thought for the Finland goal, Kasper Schmeichel made a mistake, didn't he? He made a dodgy mistake on the goal, didn't he? As far as more,
I don't know. It was very close to him, you know, which is always a very difficult save to make when it's close to the keeper. You know what I mean? So it's a difficult one to call, but I just think it's one of those. You know, it's a very difficult thing to sort out because obviously you've got TV rights in place and broadcasting and all this other stuff as well. But you've also got the element of security and, you know, COVID and all that kind of stuff as well going on. And I just think, like, even if they played it the next day, it's still going to be raw. Those guys, you know, it's not like the trauma of what those players experienced. They were all circled around the player. It's not like the trauma that was going to go away. It mightn't even go away for months. You know what I mean? So the problem is when's good to play it, like, you know?
You're saying your man Thomas Delaney, he was absolutely, and your man Christensen, the 2 boys were absolutely dead. Yeah. Like, we now know that he had to be defibbed, that they did think they were going to lose him.
Yeah. I mean,
you're running around in that game full of adrenaline, you know what I mean? Your heart is racing, and then suddenly your heart just slows down completely and you're shaking to the core. It was just so hard to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness as well to the Finnish team, I mean, they clapped the team back on. They did everything to encourage them back out onto the pitch when the decision was made. And even the Finnish fans were you know, chanting Christian's name and stuff like that and all. So it's not like Finland were taking advantage of a situation. They were pushed into a situation as well to have to play it, you know. And I think, you know, as I said, I don't know whether there's an easy solution to it. This was just such a weird thing that happened, you know what I mean? And again, we even seen it with the camera work. How do you react to it? You know what I mean? You don't know what to be doing, really. You know what I mean?
I think personally they should have stopped off footage of it. They continued to record for such a long period of time that they probably shouldn't have, to the point where the Finnish fans thrown down flags and things like that to cover them up.
Yeah.
Should the camera been stopped and just, you know, went back to the studios, whatever?
I just can't imagine the sense of broadcast panic when these things happen. You know what I mean? I just don't know. I reckon you should be going back to the studio, but I just don't know. You know, if you're a cameraman, so you don't even know, were these cameramen being told what to do at the time, or was there such a situation of panic where they go by the fly of what they thought they should be doing and they're acting on instinct, but they're not too sure. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think you can turn around and you know, dwell on that and say, yeah, it was in bad taste and it shouldn't have happened. But until you're standing there holding that camera and you're in the height of that kind of panic, you'll never know what your reaction will be, you know. I'm sure even those cameramen and broadcasters, they don't want to be shown that kind of footage. No one does, you know. Obviously, Belgium with a solid win. This is the power of Lukaku. Continued on great form from Serie A with a 3-0 win against Russia.
Outstanding. Unbelievable. Lukaku has just been a man possessed since he moved to Inter Milan. Came out in the summer, and well, we are in the summer. We came out there a couple of weeks ago, and he said he's had a talk with the new manager, and he wants to stay. You know, he knows he can build some. He has I don't believe in himself that he thinks he has to prove himself to anybody, but he knows, as good as he's performing, if he continues to do so, he's really shoving a lot of shit back down Man United and Man United fans' throats. He's been absolutely outstanding. And then Kevin De Bruyne coming back from injury, like, it's just adding fuel to the fire. If Belgium can just settle down with Lukaku firing on all cylinders, You know, Kevin De Bruyne making football look easy. Yuri Tillemans, you know, there's a potential to go all the way. Everybody's talking about France, but Belgium is definitely in the 3 or 4 that are actually going to really push on for it.
So much talent.
Look, I'm not going to. Belgium played phenomenal, Joe. We're trying to win. Great performance. I still think England are going to win it, if I'm being honest with you. As bad as that sounds, being Irish now, I still think England are going to win it. I think Belgium, it could be.
Get him off the podcast for that.
I honestly think, you know what? I think Scotland are going to drag England into a bit of a war.
When we get onto that group, I'll say how I feel about that game tomorrow. But it's not going to. I don't think it's going to be plain sailing.
No, I don't think so either. And you look, the talisman Harry Kane there. He's not even fired. And look at the mare he had there in that first game. You know what I mean?
Man, hold on.
Listen, Harry Kane is doing this on purpose. He knows if he has a shit tournament and knocks about 20 million off his price,
someone will buy him.
Yeah. Listen, right? Harry Kane had a bad game. Right? I'm not gonna come on here and defend England and be like I'm Irish and all that, whatever. I do believe England are going to win. Mason Mount, Phil Foden, 2 phenomenal players, right? They could lead England to win it. Sterling played phenomenal, Johnny. Absolutely phenomenal against Croatia.
Hit me up after the podcast and I'll take that bet off you, right? That's not a problem at all. I'll take that bet. And let me know what you want. I'll take that bet.
100 quid, yeah?
Yeah, shit, they haven't even started fighting yet. Wait till they start fighting with each other and all and losing the rag and all. Group C. Austria, Netherlands, Ukraine, and North Macedonia. Austria with a very good win against North Macedonia, 3-1, but made hard work of it. Like Macedonia made them work for their win, and played some nice football as well. Which is it was surprising to me, even though they'd come off some good results like that win against Germany and stuff like that. Which of course these things can happen in prep and stuff like that. But I think Austria sort of weathered the storm a little bit and then came through and 3-1 win. The other game in the group then, Netherlands versus Ukraine, was crazy. I mean,
crazy is right. I just remember the commentary saying at 2 when the Netherlands were 2-0 up, they were just saying they're so laid back, like they need to really like close out this game because they're gonna get themselves in trouble. Ukraine scored to make it 2-1, and the commentators are still saying these really need to get their heads back into this game because they look like they're going to throw this away. The Ukraine equalised, and I'm thinking to myself, what a turnaround this game could be. And the Netherlands will only have themselves to blame. They got over the line with a late goal. Denzel Dumfries, boys. Just if I wasn't holding the phone with my hand, I'd applaud him. That guy is fucking awesome. He's like nice. Trent. He's like Trent and Andrew Robertson rolled into one. He's absolutely outstanding.
He did in the first half. He did miss that sitter down. People were like, well, is he as good? Then he came back in the second half and just played phenomenal.
But come here, you still have to remember he's a full back. Fullbacks aren't supposed to bury every chance they get. Like he got up to, you see the goal tonight to finish off the game, getting up to get the tap in off Malian's pass across the goal to him, but to get up, you know, have that drive and determination, has nothing to prove. You know, the spotlight is on him. The Netherlands are playing well. You know, they're qualified now for the second round. Really looking forward to seeing how far they can go.
Absolutely. Group D. Czech Republic, England, Croatia, and Scotland. Here's your group.
Now let me talk here, yeah?
Yeah,
the group with death.
Well, we'll pass it over to you, Dean, then. The first match, England 1, Croatia 0.
Which Dean?
Dean Malone. We let Dean Malone start this one. This is his pick for the tournament.
You're not going to be happy about this. I think England played phenomenal, yeah? Genuinely I do. I think England went out there and played all he could, right? Sterling was phenomenal. Harry Kane, non-existent, to be honest. Was non-existent for most of the game. Walked into the bleeding post there and he fucking limped off forever, maybe, but happened, right? Sterling's goal was brilliant. Calvin Phillips was man of the match without a doubt. Lad is unbelievable. Whether Leeds keeping this season or not, I don't see it happening. You can see United or it's Chelsea coming in and getting him there.
Nah, he won't go anywhere. He's a Leeds boy. He already had a chance of a move and he turned it down. He ain't
He's
going nowhere.
phenomenal. He played such a good game. The passes he was making, unbelievable.
Now, I just want to make a point now before you go any further, right? Calvin Phillips, you're pinning your hopes on England winning this tournament, right? And you're telling me that Calvin Phillips was man of the match and Raheem Sterling had a great game. And these are the boys. No, these are the boys you think are going to take you to a semi or a final or win a big tournament.
I don't think Sterling is going to bring Liverpool to England, to a Euros final. I believe that it's going to take the likes of Mount, Foden, and even Harry Kane showing up. I just think in that Croatia game, they played very, very well. Sterling scored a beaut. You can't deny that.
Do you not think it was a poor Croatian side?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think they had their chances in the game.
I thought that was the worst performance I've seen from a Croatian side since I started looking at Croatia as a team.
I thought that Croatia were absolutely dirt box. I don't think England were much better. If you can honestly say that you think England are going to win that, I will gladly take a €100 bet with you.
I will bet it right now here on this podcast. I'll bet £100 about you. Yeah, I reckon England could win it. Genuinely,
you said England will win it, so €100 bet.
I'll take that, which I'll take 1 0.
No problem.
It's take it on this.
Live here on the Dino or the upper tier.
I don't think there's going to be a handier €100 I'm ever going to earn.
You know what?
We'll
see the games.
3 weeks, yeah.
See tomorrow's game, England versus Scotland. Scotland are going to pose more of a threat to England tomorrow than Croatia. Tomorrow is a war of attrition. England are massive favourites for this game tomorrow night. Like there's some big voices in that Scotland team, and they are gonna be. This is like a proper country versus country.
It'll be 2-1.
There's a lot riding on tomorrow.
This is William Wallace Braveheart stuff.
It'll be 2-1 tomorrow.
You can picture Andrew Robertson walking into the dressing room with the face paint on, can't you?
Like Sting, like William Wallace.
Yeah. I believe it'll be 2-1 tomorrow night to England.
Yeah, the Scotland.
Listen, lads,
you think it'll be 2-1 to England tomorrow against Scotland?
I do.
So this is the team you think now is going to go on and win the tournament. It's going to beat Scotland 2-1.
Yeah, I believe Scotland. No, hold on, listen. You can laugh while he's wanting.
I'm trying to make the logic of what you're saying. Go on.
I believe Scotland.
I'm trying to explain this to people.
I believe Scotland are threatening. They are, right? But I do believe England will beat them 2-1 tomorrow. And that's because I don't believe in Jordan Pickford and goal. That's the only reason I think they'll score.
Listen,
I do not believe in Jordan Pickford and goal. I think he's a fucking...
And someone needs to tell Phil Foden as well that dyeing your hair blonde doesn't make you Paul Gascoigne either.
I mean,
I don't know. I think it's tailor made really for England and the Czech Republic to go through, really, isn't it? And then if you can get a third place spot out of there, But this is massive. Scotland get a result tomorrow, they're right back in the mix.
I think Scotland. I said it for weeks. I think Scotland are going to beat England tomorrow. I think the English players.
How much do you want to show on that, Fitzer?
What?
How much do you want to show on that?
Don't be trying to make your money back from betting €100 to both.
If you really believe Scotland will beat England tomorrow,
said it for weeks.
So I'll throw 50 quid on with you.
All right, 50 quid.
We actually said as well that if Scotland were to beat England, that England could go out of the tournament.
Yeah, that's the only issue.
Can you just imagine that? Be brown bag paper, Pizza Hut ads again, it'd be all good. Let's go. Group B: Slovakia, Spain, Sweden, and Poland.
The Slovaks, the mighty Slovaks.
Yeah,
have the Slovakians in me sweepstakes and walk.
Some result. That 2-1 result against Poland was unbelievable. Where was our boy Lewandowski?
When you look at that Poland team, Noel, Szczesny, Glick, Bednarek, probably Zielinski and Lewandowski, when 2 or 3 of them don't perform, Poland don't perform, because there's a lot of rides on those names, and everybody is just looking at Lewandowski. Look at how Lewandowski for the last 2 years was like Liverpool put into a player, and everything is just all guns blazing, carrying a club and a country. And I think like he's a bit of a burnout now. He done absolutely nothing the other night against Slovakia. Slovakia thoroughly deserved to win as well. They didn't get lucky. They played really well, I thought.
I don't know about that, Dean. Now, come on.
No, I did. No, I mean, I thought the Slovakians did a great job on Lewandowski the other night. I mean, they doubled up on him and marked him and stuff like that. And he didn't. He created a little bit, but really nothing like what you would expect. I mean, if you're thinking about the season that he's had with Bayern Munich, and I know you can't compare.
I say he was shit because his form or his level is so high that when he doesn't play to that level, it's really noticeable. That's the only thing I'm picking out on him, because
or not being surrounded by that level of player.
Like what Paul Pogba said. Paul Pogba has come out in an interview and said, I play better with France because it's better to play in a team with better players around you.
Yeah.
Why, when the spotlight's being on you, it's neither here nor there because we're just doing the European review. That's why come out and say that, knowing there's fans at the club that want you hung and drawn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't come out and say that in the middle of a major tournament. But Lewandowski has carried.
But you do if you want to move.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
That's what I mean. He's storing the pot. He knows exactly what he's doing, saying that. Yeah. You know, it makes you look and say he doesn't have a brain cell to his name other than storing the pot in the direction that he wants it to go. He knows exactly what he's doing. But Lewandowski, you know, he doesn't have the luxury of going off and playing for Poland, and he has the players around him that are capable of going and winning a major tournament. Whereas when you're at Bayern Munich and seeing what he's done there over the last 2 years, should have won the Ballon d'Or last year.
Wasn't for COVID.
Breaking the all-time record in the Bundesliga, you know, still has probably 3 or 4 years left in him. It's just, I hate seeing that in world-class players going to major tournaments. We've seen it down the years, world-class players being the only star in that team and going off to major tournaments and getting knocked out in the group stage. And you're thinking to yourself, would love to see what that guy could do in a great international team.
Mm. Unfortunately, the thing is, you have to pin your colours to your nationality and your country, and like you can't dictate.
All you have to do is look at the Irish team and poor Jeff Hendricks. You know what I mean? If he was playing with better players around him, he'd be up there with Kevin De Bruyne's level. Not.
Spain and Sweden was really a tale of one team that came to play and the other team didn't.
Can I just say something on this, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
In regards to Spain, they're missing that Ramos figure in the team. And it was very obvious against Sweden. They didn't have that fire, didn't have that desire to go and win a game. And
tell you where it all goes wrong in the Spanish team. It's Alvaro Morata. Oh,
fair enough.
stealing a living as a centre forward. Oh, I swear to fucking God! You look back at the forwards that Spain had when they won the World Cup, the Euros.
Yeah.
And Fernando Torres and David Villa. You'd give them a ball and they would just. We watched Fernando Torres at Liverpool. When he left Liverpool, I genuinely was heartbroken. You just gave him the ball and he'd make something from nothing. Yeah. Alvaro Morata, I swear to God, he gets the ball and he just types up a memo, emails it to everyone on the pitch, waits for them all to read it and get registered and be like, right, so come at us. And I'm thinking to myself, what is a manager thinking putting him up there? He offers nothing. You know, he offers nothing. And I just think
especially when Jared Moreno's on the bench.
But if they're pinning the hopes on him, I'd like to think that Luis Enrique goes out now in the next game and pins all his hope on Moreno, because if he goes with Alvaro, if you're resting all your laurels on Alvaro Morata, you're not going far in the tournament.
That miss the other night was unforgivable, wasn't it?
Fucking nanny, God rest your nanny, but me nanny would have hopped out of our grave and buried that.
I mean, look, it was bad. And Thiago came on, he didn't play much better either after the season he's had with Liverpool as well.
come here. Thiago came on knowing he should have started the game. The Spanish team, Koke, Rodri, and Pedri. Pedri is going to be a sensational player, but I think a lot of Spanish press are putting their hopes on him. Rodri, you know, he offers a small bit going forward with Man City, but he doesn't do it in the Spanish team. And I just think with Koke, I just think 3 relatively bland performances in the middle of the park, side-to-side passes, very frustrating. Just think Thiago, and again, not being biased because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I just think Thiago has that spark, that bit of magic that can open up a defence, and you don't have to play the side-to-side ball all the time. Sweden, I said it as soon as the game was finished, I said, Sweden, just let them have the ball and soaked it up, and they knew if they played 2 compact walls of 5 and 5, that Spain weren't going to break through. They had 1 or 2 chances and they fluffed them, and thoroughly deserved point from Sweden because they went with a game plan, said to themselves, if we can get a point out of this game, we're more than good enough to go and win the next 2 games, or at least, get another 4 points from the last 2 games.
There was not a major to know of the game when you look back on it. Like, there was never that, you know.
It was like an exhibition match.
Yeah, you look at other games in the tournament, you go, well, there was that chance that, you know, could decide the game. There wasn't really that chance in the game.
Like Spain had 954 passes, whereas Sweden had 176. It tells you the story of the game completely.
Yeah. And some people would argue that Sweden in the end had the best chance of the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
your man's can you imagine if your man Isaac had scored the winner there? I tell you what, it would make for it a hostile return to Spain next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would have been phenomenal though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to Group F, which is the kind of group that we all wait for all week to get to, really, when you think about it. You know, Portugal, France, Germany, and Hungary.
Look, can I just say something here, yeah?
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
This straight up. Right. France are 1-0 up, yeah?
Yeah.
You're up 1-0 up against Germany, right? You've had a good, like, you know, they got lucky with the own goal or whatnot. They're fucking on anybody but Giroud. Why do you not put Giroud on with 20 minutes to go? You understand they had to tear this loud goal through. You put Giroud on with 20 minutes to go and you're banging another.
I don't know whether Giroud would have the I don't know whether he'd have the impact against that German defence in terms of throwing in high balls and stuff like that. I think the likes of Hummels at the back and Rudiger at the back would eat those kind of things up. So I don't know whether Giroud would be the right move.
Germany are renowned for the defensive play, whereas unless you keep it on the ground and you're really, really compact and quick, you're not creating much against Germany. With the 2 boys there.
Lads, that defense was non-existent against Mbappe, right? Mbappe was fucking phenomenal in that game.
But how many goals did he score? They done it. How many goals did he score? None. So regardless of how Mbappe played, they didn't concede. So in their eyes, that's a good performance.
You also have to remember. Yeah, but see, if you look at the match as well, yeah, I mean, France could have had 4 or 5 really, when you think about it, and also Germany could have had 1 or 2. But if you think about how France was getting their joy, it was all passing through the lines and passing through the channels. It wasn't lobbing balls in like what you do to Giroud. Giroud would get pushed around by those German lads at the back. So he wouldn't be the guy to be bringing on. And when you see the way Mbappe was flowing through and stuff like that, everything was on the deck, constantly on the deck. You seen it with Rabiot going in there. You seen it with Mbappe going in there. Even Benzema coming across the 18-yard line. And Benzema's a bit of a powerhouse up front as well in terms of being in the air and all. But if you go back and you remember the match, not a single high ball went into them. It was everything to the feet because they know that the guys are very strong at the back in terms of high balls coming in. So I'm not sure Giroud would give you what you normally think you would get, maybe from when you see him coming on in a Premier League game or in a European game, you know.
Dead right. And then you look at the way Mbappe plays. There is going to come a game where it is all going to click and they are going to give someone a right hiding. It might be in the group stages. We've seen in the World Cup in the past, Germany against Brazil. There's definitely potential there in that France team. Even in the knockout stages, it could be Italy, it could be England, it could be Spain. They're going to give someone a hiding. Mbappe is going to play out of his skin all through this tournament. Karim Benzema, we know what he can do with the ball in front of goal. They have Giroud there as another attacking option. Just keep your eye on us. France are going to wallop someone by 3 or 4.
You have to remember as well in a lot of these tournaments, the team that ultimately ends up winning the tournament is not necessarily the team that goes out and spanks someone 6-0 in the first game. These teams tend to grow into the tournament, and their progression tends to get better game after game after game, and then they peak when they start getting to the quarters and semis and the final. And that's how these tournaments tend to go. Like if France went out the other night and they bet Germany 5-6-0, everyone would be going, oh my God, look at what they spoke about with Italy beating Turkey 3-0. It's an absolute rubbish Turkey side, you know what I mean? So on the face of it, you got to go out there and do the job and play against the team you're playing against. But when you hear people losing their mind about that 3-0 win Italy versus Turkey, and you're thinking, it does look like a really good Italian side. They are playing well. They're not giving much up. And they are scoring goals, which is good to see in an Italian side as opposed to, over time the 1-0s that we used to see and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think as these teams start to grow into it, those teams that are banging in the 3, 4, and 5-0s, they will tend to fade away because they're peaking too early. And that's when you see the power of a France or a Portugal or teams like that. They come into the tournament, obviously they find their step, So that would be my view looking at the first week when you analyse it, But brilliant as always, lads. Thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure with the roundup. There he is, the new transfer that we signed this week. Lewis is joining the upper tier.
We give him a clap there.
We were negotiating a free transfer. Look at the smile on Daddy's face there. He's like a Joker out of Batman. It's nearly right around.
He's delighted.
He's absolutely. I swear to God, he's absolutely. Everyone has kids. I guarantee when you see that baby, they're saying, "Jeez, the best looking baby I've ever seen." Well, unless the odd kid is born and just can't be said for them. But I tell you, I looked at my young fella and I was like, never seen a baby like it ever.
All my kids were beautiful. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, mine was Ben, Dylan, and Lauren. I love yous and all, but my son takes sole custody of that number 1 spot.
Now you know what the listeners are waiting for, don't you?
What? I'm only joking.
How did you come up with the name Lewis? Where did the name Lewis come from?
Noel, you don't even need to ask there. There's Luis Garcia and there's Luis Suarez. And regardless of what Luis Suarez did and how he left the club,
I just assumed because you and Mandy love shopping so much, I thought it was named after that store in England called John Lewis. That's what I thought it was.
It could be worse because there's people saying you must have been on the Lewis coming home and we're like, can't think of a name. And two of us looked at the sign and we just looked at each other and went, Lewis.
Well, you want to be careful because now lads are listening in. And when they start sending you these congrats cards, they're going to be spelling this Lewis all different ways. So
I tell you, anyone sending in a congratulations in the comments, or do you want to make donations to my GoFundMe for the expensive life that I have ahead
for the next 18 years?
It's LEWIS, not LUAS.
After the boxer Lennox Lewis.
Those donations go towards Liverpool v Brighton, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, anyway,
anyone says to me his name after Lewis Capaldi, I swear to God, I've elbows like razor blades.
Well, listen, a pleasure as always to have you on. Great to round up the first week of the Euros.
Come on, Ireland.
Shout out to Craig, our European correspondent who's normally on, who couldn't be with us tonight, but always does a stellar job on breaking down the Euros. He was up in Tallaght scouting 2 lads off the Killinarden AFC in the 9s for the Republic of Ireland. Well, as always, Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. Head over there, smash that subscribe bell notification button. As I said already, Anchor for audio versions of the show. And if you want to hit us up, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TPodman. Sorry, at the upper tier, I should say. Where am I going? TPodman.
Wrong one.
However, it's not too bad getting it wrong. Pleasure as always, lads. Till next time. Now, that's 2 mistakes in the day. I tell you want to see today's mistake was a belter. Till next time, lads. On. Cheers. God bless.